My drill sergeant was secretly doing this every day at 3 p.m. Staff Sergeant Blake was the scariest human being I'd ever met. 6'4", voice like a foghorn, could make grown men cry just by looking at them. During basic training at Fort Benning, he made our lives absolutely miserable for 8 straight weeks. Every day was the same brutal routine. Wake up at 4:30 a.m., PT until we puked, drill and ceremony until lunch, weapons training in the afternoon. Staff Sergeant Blake never smiled, never showed emotion, just pure angry drill sergeant 24/7. But I started noticing something weird around week 5. Every single day at exactly 3 p.m., Staff Sergeant Blake would disappear for exactly 20 minutes. He'd hand things over to Sergeant Davis, our assistant drill instructor, and just vanish. Nobody questioned it. We were too scared to ask where he went. Plus, those 20 minutes were the easiest part of our day because Sergeant Davis was way more relaxed. One Thursday afternoon, I had to run back to the barracks to grab my canteen I'd forgotten. It was 3:05 p.m. As I'm jogging past the drill sergeant's office building, I hear something that stops me dead in my tracks. Singing. Like soft, gentle singing coming from behind the building. I know I shouldn't investigate. I know this is probably going to get me smoked until I can't walk. But curiosity won. I quietly moved around the corner and peeked. There's Staff Sergeant Blake sitting cross-legged on the ground behind the building, surrounded by 3 stray dogs. He's feeding them pieces of his own lunch, petting them, and singing some country song I don't recognize. His whole face is different. Soft, smiling, actually happy. "You guys doing okay today?" He's saying to these dogs like they're his best friends. "Yeah, I know, long hot day. Got you some extra chicken today." One of the dogs, this scraggly brown mutt, puts his head in Blake's lap. The drill sergeant who made me do push-ups in the mud for sneezing wrong is scratching this dog's ears and baby talking to it. I must have made a noise because his head snapped up and our eyes locked. The gentle expression vanished instantly, replaced by pure drill sergeant rage. "Private Collins, what in the hell are you doing behind this building?" I stood at attention. "Drill sergeant, I forgot my canteen and was heading back to—" "Did I ask for your life story? Get over here. Now." I thought I was dead. I walked over expecting the worst punishment of my life. Instead, he looked at me for a long moment. The dogs were still wagging their tails around him. "You tell anyone about this, and I will make the rest of your basic training so miserable you'll wish you'd never enlisted. Understood?" "Yes, drill sergeant. These dogs don't have anyone else," he said quietly. "Been feeding them since my last cycle graduated. Base wants to call animal control, have them taken to the pound. I'm trying to find them homes before that happens." The scariest man I'd ever met was secretly running a dog rescue operation during basic training. "Drill sergeant, my parents back home have a farm. They're always looking for good dogs." His expression changed. "You serious, Private?" "Yes, drill sergeant. I can call them tonight if you want." For the first time ever, I saw Staff Sergeant Blake actually smile. Not a mean smile, a real one. "Outstanding. Now get back to formation before Sergeant Davis notices you're gone." "And Collins?" "This conversation never happened." "What conversation, drill sergeant?" "My parents ended up adopting all 3 dogs." Staff Sergeant Blake never mentioned it again during training, stayed just as mean and scary as always. But on graduation day, as we were packing up to leave, he pulled me aside and handed me an envelope. "Give this to your parents. It's a thank you note and money for the dogs' vet bills." Inside was $500 and a letter that started with, "Thank you for giving these guys a second chance." Turns out the meanest drill sergeant in basic training had the biggest heart on base. He just couldn't let anyone know it during duty hours.